Hi everybody, I'm Caylan. Today we're going to be disassembling this Traeger. We'll talk about some improvements I'm making and we'll get started on refurbishing it. Before we get started, I want to show an image of what this thing looked like before I got my hands on it. It's been sitting outside for about 2 years and the mold and rust buildup were pretty intense. I spent several hours attacking that with a wire brush before I continued to taking it apart. As you can tell by how drastic the speed up is here, there were a lot of steps involved in getting this thing apart. I started by removing the lid and then moved on to the inner parts of the grill. None of those were attached with any fasteners, so that all came apart pretty easily. After the inside was taken out, I took off the chimney, which was just attached with a couple of bolts. Once the chimney was off, I pulled out the heating element where the pellets are burned. Now that that's out, I moved on to getting the pellet box off. The pellet box also houses all of the electronics of the barbecue, and with one as old as this one, those aren't too complicated. This grill only has 3 settings, smoke, medium, and high, and none of them are accurate. One of the improvements I hope to make to this grill is adding a temperature gauge so I can accurately tell how hot my food is cooking. With the smoker box off, I laid the grill on the ground to remove the wheels and the legs. These were all assembled by the previous owner, so minus a little rust, they all came off pretty seamlessly. After I got the legs off, I moved on to getting all the individual parts of the lid apart. These were all pretty rusty and covered with grease, so they need to be soaked in some vinegar to remove all the gunk. After getting everything pulled apart and separated, it was time to move on to the next step in getting ready for grilling season. Here's a quick snapshot of all the components laying out on the ground. From left to right, we have the innards. There's some pans that help control the flow of the grease. Then the grill leaning up against the body, which is sitting next to the door, and the handle and the legs. Below that is the wheels. To the left of that we have the chimney and the cap for the chimney, and then the auger housing and the heating element with the pellet box in the top right. The main improvements that I'd like to make to this grill were largely repairs that are necessary to get it working. The only improvement that I'm going to add that wasn't included in the original manufacturer designs is a temperature gauge. I want to be able to read the internal temperature so I can ensure my food is cooking properly. This one from Amazon is likely what I will purchase. It's versatile and it's easy to install as well as being really cheap. In this quick time lapse, I got to start on getting some of the rust off with an angle grinder. The next steps are to get the rest of the paint and rust stripped off and give the whole grill a good scrub with soap and water. I'm going to paint it with heat resistant paint and then it should be ready to go.